Welcome to the REI Foundation Podcast, where we cover all the steps and strategies to make your real estate dreams a reality. Now your hosts, Jason and Pili.
Well, hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Investing Foundation Podcast. It is Multifamily Monday, and we have a lot of special things happening today, a lot of surprises. Most notably, Pili's back in the show.
Happy Monday, everyone. Yay!
Back and back. But on top of that, who is our awesome guest today?
We have the awesome Dan Schoenbaechler. Welcome, Dan. You are amazing. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you.
Last time Dan was on, it was episode 32. And now we are at episode
325. And again, Go back and listen to episode 32. That's going to give you a great idea about what Dan has been doing for his whole course in real estate. But Dan, give us some feedback. So a lot has happened since now 300 or so episodes. So give us a little current conditions, what you've been working on.
Yeah, did you guys miss me?
Absolutely did. That's what we said. Let's go. Let's get back on.
So I do believe the main topic when we last spoke was more about my brokerage experience and working as an agent for the people, finding deals, especially investment-oriented properties. So for almost 2 years now, I've actually, on the side, been doing capital raising for syndications and helping pair up investors with investees. So helping put together a lot of multifamily syndications.
Awesome. And Dan has been a partner with us in our projects in the past and one of our future projects coming up. And we thought it'd be a great lead-in segue topic for today, just talking about investments, how to really evaluate investments from an active environment, also from a passive environment, how to look at the deal and how to look also at the operator. So Dan, when you're having a deal brought across your desk, what are some of the main components that you initially focus on to see if this is even an investment that you want to look further into?
Yeah, it's kind of the chicken or the egg, because there's two main components that you have to focus on, and that's the deal and the investor. So I know I have certain investors that won't be interested in certain things, and then vice versa. So I guess overall, starting with the investment itself, want to make sure that the history of the operator is solid, see if they have a track record, and even if they're in the early stages, making sure that they have a history in other fields that can complement and be applied to the investment side. So if they've run other businesses or been in the finance world, they could probably, figure out an income and expense sheet to help underwrite a property, things of that nature. So they don't even necessarily have to be, there's lots of good sponsors that didn't even have any experience in real estate prior and then have gone on to run incredible investment opportunities. So a few things that I look for my investors are usually over the course of the deal to try and at least double their money between the quarterly distributions and the payout at the end. I like to get at least a 2x equity multiple. And most of my investors are looking for some fairly nice cash flow, meaning 7+% a year. Usually, a lot of these deals will have preferred return, say 7 or 8%, which means they should be getting that much at minimum. And then there could be additional on top of that. So a lot of people look for that, stepping into a 7% preferred return, hoping to get more like 9 or 10% a year, which a lot of the deals do tend to be value add. So that does leave room for the operator to increase the cash flow and get them that above average returns.
Awesome. When you're looking at the operator themselves, when you're turned off from a deal, what are some of the areas of concern about the deal or the operator that you can reference that may be a good point for other people to look at?
What are some red flags?
Sure. Red flags could just be the first thing that people flip to is the return page. To look at the return structure that they have set up. could be all over the place. So the thing is, and the challenge sometimes is that these deals can be structured a million different ways. There is no rule or base to it. There are a lot of people that kind of have created kind of a norm, and they will, have either a straight split like 70-30 or 80-20, something like that. So, some people are expecting more of those kinds of returns. So if they see something more like 60-40 or 50-50, they might be not as prepared for a deal like that. Also, a lot of people are hesitant on markets. So, if you go into a really small town, especially you're more susceptible to a single employer, less job diversity in that kind of area. If it's a town or area of 20,000 people, and there's one big office or manufacturer there, they're probably employing the bulk of the people there. So you can fall into that trap that if they have one job opportunity go downhill, suddenly there could be an incredible amount of vacancy or people leaving the area. So you want to make sure that the demographics are reached, analyzing the MSAs and whatnot, as well as job security and things of that nature.
Awesome. Now, and in terms of investors themselves, it's now, we hear a lot, right? Oh, well, I don't know how to find investors. I don't know how to tap into investors. I don't know anybody who may have money. What's some good ways that you can find investors that these might be good investments for?
So that's kind of how I naturally fell into this. I've always been a networker, an opportunist as well, as I like to say. So like any person that steps into a sales role, they're told, call everyone in your sphere, your circle of influence, the people you know. So starting there is always good. And then expanding upon that, think of other people in your life. If it's, people you use like doctors or dentists or your own insurance person. It's what's especially good to think about if you're looking to raise capital is target the people with higher net worth and good income jobs, and a lot of these people with the high salary W-2 jobs don't have the time or the patience to try and find deals and things like that. So whether they know it or not, they might be wanting to hear from you about an opportunity like this. They just might not be aware of it, or they just didn't know you were involved. So telling everyone your story and what you do on all walks of life, it's a little easier for me because, like I said, I'm on the brokerage side as well. So I talk to people about real estate every day. Yeah. So it's a natural conversion to swing into. And on the investment side, I help people invest out of state in large multifamily syndications. And that means for you that you get completely passive income. And a lot of people say, oh, wow, that sounds better than answering 4 a.m. phone calls about a clogged toilet. So whether they're looking to invest locally or just want that completely hands-off, a lot of them do consider and or jump into the passive side.
So if I'm your average investor, say I do some fix and flips, or I'm a doctor or so, and I have some extra cash, how do I find a person like you, Dan?
Call me.
So if you're listening, call Dan.
Yeah. I guess in that light is that, when you are sourcing funds, and you actually said something that I hadn't thought of it that way, is that people, they may not even know that they want to know about this opportunity because they don't even know it exists, right? And that's so true. Just so many people are, oh, well, I invest in, mutual funds or stocks or, investing in apartment communities. It has been for so long. It was thought of only available to the institutional players. but to know that it's available to so many different people, and it is a great resource for people who just have a lot of active income and just don't have that time. But this gives them so many different reasons that they can combat that active income against, tax savings and other tax advantages that can come about through investing in these properties. So I guess where Pili was going is that when you're looking for these operators, what are some good ways to find resources where maybe some of these deals would be available?
Well, we're living in a blessed time where we have the internet at our fingertips. So a few great, easy resources to tap into are websites like biggerpockets.com. You can literally just start searching for the words syndications or syndicators, things of that, multifamily. And it's funny because it's a little bit of a small world, even though a lot more people keep getting into it every day. But you kind of see who the players are, some of the gurus, as they call them, and whether it's multiple trainings available and or just coming across these circles, you kind of can start to weed out who's actually getting involved and who's actually producing and who's not. And spin-offs of that will be things like Facebook groups or other specialized interest groups that are focused on this. And what's even better, I'm a big face-to-face person. So going to meetup groups in your area, it's easy. Again, whether it's meetup.com or just Google, real estate or investor meetup group and your zip code or town name, it's fairly easy to come across and find a bunch of these groups that are starting. And then you can actually go and talk to these people and hear one-on-one directly from the source, who's actually doing things, who's not, successes, failures, all the above.
Yeah, great point. And honestly, when you find the sponsors, you don't necessarily have to invest with them right away, but maybe see some of the deals they've worked on in the past, find it and have them send you their, past, investment summaries or offerings so you can review, so you can fully understand what these deals are about and how they're typically structured, so you can make a better informed decision. So when the next opportunity is actually brought to you, you've already had guidance on how they are, just so you can understand. And in terms of operators out there, no, let's not go in that direction. In terms of the deals themselves, is there a certain guidelines that you like to give your investors, or certain questions that typically come up from investors about the deal that you see time and time again for people that are raising capital? A long way to get to the answer is the usual questions that people ask you when you're raising money.
Yeah. Some of them will ask track record, especially if they're new. I've raised on 3 deals within the past 6 months, and you do tend to get some of the same questions, and it's, how much money do you have dedicated already? Even though it could be the first day you're sending the email. Oh, how much did you raise already? They don't want to be like the only person jumping in on that boat in case it sinks. And so they're always interested where you stand on the raising process. And it's nice when I can call them back and say, it's been 72 hours, we're full, sorry you missed it. Yeah. But so that kind of shows the confidence in the amount of people that are willing to get in on the opportunities. Some will ask for track record and history, although I've been raising mainly for the same sponsor group. And some of them, it's less questions than I would say almost excuses or responses to why they're not investing. And that actually helps me, because then I take note of that and make sure when those opportunities do come around, I bring it back to them. Because they'll say something like, I'm just not familiar with, let's say, Austin, Texas. I'm not familiar enough on the rental market there, so I'm going to pass on this opportunity, but send me the next one. Someone will say, I just invested on something else. I'm going to wait to save a few more bucks for the next one. So people are always kindly passing. I've even had some of my biggest fish that I thought, they'll probably pick up the whole raise. It was not interested at all in being passive. Let me know when I can be on the general partner side. So it's like, okay, well, you know what? There can absolutely be opportunity for that too. Maybe we end up structuring a joint venture on a deal, instead of syndicating it. Same kind of thing, just less players, less hands in the pot, and save on some attorney fees. So, so those are kind of the main things that come up. Just not comfortable enough yet, or just not in the right position financially. But most of them ask what the cash flow is, and that's pretty much it.
It's absolutely, you're spot on though, that a no today is not always a no tomorrow. And so constantly
Correct.
follow up with people and let them know, because just like anything, this can be new for a lot of people. So if you're sending to them for the first time, the ultimate answer may just be no, because they just don't understand it enough yet. But if you can show them, and okay, they didn't do this investment or even the next one, that's fine. But keep sending them the performance, show them how the deal is progressing, show them how the deals are doing well, continue to follow up, because they will ultimately love to see more of it. And they ultimately may become a bigger investor down the road once they can ultimately fully understand it. So a no today is not always a no forever.
So you are also a real estate agent with KW, Keller Williams. How do you speak to other agents? Because I have been a big proponent of real estate agents out there. I know you're listening. If you're not investing in some way, shape, or form, you should be, because you have your hand on the button that is the real estate market. So all you real estate agents out there, you better be listening to this, because Dan is about to drop golden bombs of awesomeness on you. Why should your average or above average or just your everyday real estate agent start investing?
One word answer: taxes.
Yes.
The two-word answer: retirement funded.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've kind of gone on a little personal mission where I'm trying to go around and shake as many real estate agents as I can and say, wake up, you are missing the best opportunity of your life right here. So I've actually been going around a bunch of my own brokerages, offices, and teaching classes alongside with Jason on the benefits and why every real estate professional should be involved in investing. It's always been a little pain point for me that I feel like a lot of agents are very hypocritical, where we're helping people make their biggest investment choices of their life. I don't know any other time that you're putting like 6 figures down on a place. You're not buying cars that expensive and stuff like that. It's you're probably not even putting that much into retirement funds every year, but you'll buy a house, and we're helping these people make the biggest investment choices of their life, and we don't take advantage of it. I know so many realtors that don't own a single piece of property, and it's okay if they don't buy their primary residence, as Grant Cardone or Gary Vee would say. That could be a waste. Put all that money towards the investing side. Now, one of my good friends turned me on to Tom Wheelwright, Robert Kiyosaki's CPA at Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I've been obsessing over him for the past few months and listening to his podcast and reading up on Tax-Free Wealth book and everything, because he's very entertaining as far as CPAs go to begin with. But he's so knowledgeable. And with the current tax reform especially, real estate professionals have every advantage in the world. We can literally have the opportunity to pay $0 in taxes through real estate investing. Mm-hmm. And not only that.
Wait. Say that one more time. Say that one more time. How much in taxes?
We could potentially pay $0 in taxes.
Legally.
Boom.
Legally. Yes, legally.
Come on, agents out there. You know how much money you pay in taxes a year, and it's mind-boggling. Dan just said you could do 0. What?
Mm-hmm.
And did we already say I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a doctor?
we don't promise that, but
anyway.
So it's your accountant, but there's many tax benefits that come with investing in real estate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you see it especially with multifamily investing due to tools like cost segregation and 100% bonus depreciation. For the flippers out there, that it's also argued whether you're actually an investor or not, because it's very transactional, versus a buy and hold is deemed more of an actual investment. Flipping, you get hammered on taxes. Mm-hmm. But this buy and hold is an opportunity where you can write off the passive income. So the bonus depreciation is essentially you do a cost segregation study, which is like an accounting engineer separates the land and the building, sees how much things cost, and you accelerate all the depreciation over 30 plus years for commercial property, all up front. So you write off all of that up front, which can be really significant. My one friend had written up to 90% of his investment off on some of his investments, meaning put in $100,000, get roughly a $90,000 write-off just on that one particular property due to the numbers that came out off that cost segregation study. So not only that, but if you have enough write-offs from the depreciation, you can write off not only your passive income your earned income as a real estate professional, but if you have a spouse that's a W-2 employee, like my wife is an engineer, she works for a corporation, gets, bi-weekly paychecks, I can start writing off her income as well. So that is just mind-boggling. Wow. And there's so many people out there that can benefit from this. And I just want to spread the word and tell everyone, get your act together, get your money into a property, and enjoy the good life, because it can be incredible.
Thank you for that, Dan.
It's awesome. Dan, this has been great. Thanks so much for coming on. I'm glad to have you back in the show. For listeners that are going to go back and hear episode 32, you're going to hear a lot more about Dan's adventures and Dan's growth as a real estate professional. But for everybody who wants to talk to you more about just really what you're working on, what's the best way to reach you?
Best way is call me or text me. My phone number is 973-919-7311. Email is dschone@kw.com. That's dschone@kw.com. And I'm all over social media. Dan Schoenbaechler. I'm sure you'll have my name spelled in the show notes, but last name's Schoenbaechler. So get some oxygen.
And if you're going to call Dan late at night, text him, because he's got a young one at home. So don't call too late at night. No. We don't want any crying babies and a mad wife. So good. Well, Dan, this has been awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on the show. You want to take us out?
Thanks for having me.
Where are we again? Oh, wait. So this is the Real Estate Investing Foundation podcast with Jason Pili. Thank you again to Dan Schoenbaechler. Mind-boggling value. And thank you all for listening. We're so grateful. Have a great night. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the REI Foundation podcast. Check back next time for more awesome tips and strategies to launch your new you in real estate.